Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Meyer, and I'm the Vice President of Partnerships at Discovery Education. And we are so excited to return with this incredible competition through our 13-year partnership with 3M. And we are truly honored to collaborate with such distinguished innovators. So as you're seeing, this year's format is a bit different. And what's neat about that is this virtual format allows for more exposure for these inspiring finalists than ever before, including what we're doing right now, these Meet the Finalists and Mentor session. So I'd like to take a moment now to introduce Dr. Gail Schuler. She is the Vice President and Chief Sustainability Officer at 3M. Gail has more than 28 years of technical and business leadership experience and is passionate about making a positive impact in the world through science and technology.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thanks to Beth Meyer for moderating for us today, and for everyone, for all of you for tuning in. My name is Gail Schuler. I serve as 3M's Vice President and Chief Sustainability Officer, and I'm honored today to have both Sophia and Xavier with us today as our finalists for the Discovery Young Scientist Challenge. For those of you who don't know, the 3M Young Scientist Challenge is a one-of-a-kind national science competition that seeks to spark curiosity at the middle school levels and empower young students to create unique solutions that help improve lives. The winner of this competition will receive a $25,000 scholarship and the title of America's Top Young Scientist for the year. Today, we'll learn more about this year's finalists, their projects, and we'll get a glimpse into what makes this program unique and the relationships between the finalists and their 3M mentors. To get us started, I'm going to kick us back, toss us back to Beth. So Beth, please take us away.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the great welcome. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the panel, but just want to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. We would love for you to be part of today's conversation. So please type any questions you may have about the finalists, their projects, or the mentor experience into the chat, and we will ask as many of your questions as possible during the session. So let's introduce our first finalist and mentor pair. It is Sophia Weiner from Rockledge, Florida, and she is paired with Sarah Frisco from 3M's Commercial Services Division. Hello to you both. So I'd actually like to start by putting Sarah on the spot and ask her to give an elevator pitch that describes Sophia's project.
Sure. So Sophia has come up with a creative way to utilize the excess muck that has been dredged from the Indian River Lagoon. And the outlet she's created is called Muckreat. And it's basically utilizing the excess muck and turning it into concrete. Some of the applications she's hoping for it to be used in are sidewalks, bricks, and park benches. And so in order for us to get it there, we needed to increase its strength. And some of the things we experimented with was adding in 3M fibers.
So that's excellent. Sophia, how did Sarah do? Did she miss anything?
That was really a great summary. One really interesting thing actually about the fibers this year is some of my fibers are made from recycled materials. One of my fibers is made from recycled plastic bottles, another is made from old clothing, and one of them is actually really cool. It's made from an agave plant.
That is amazing. So thank you so much for that. So our second finalist and mentor pair is Xavier Iglesias from Naples, Florida, and he is paired with Sam Reese from 3M's Advanced Materials Division. Hi to you both.
Hey, Beth.
So now it's Sam's turn to be put on the spot and to give us an elevator pitch for Xavier's project.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll try not to butcher it too hard here. So what Xavier's product really is an integrated mixed kind of generation energy harvesting system, which combines piezoelectrics, which is pressure-based kind of energy harvesting, along with thermoelectric generation, which is temperature differential-based energy harvesting. And what Xavier's really done is integrate both these technologies into kind of a single package that's to be deployed at areas where people are running, people are driving, or where there's impact and a temperature differential, which is really any ground. The system's paired with a battery for storage, so it can ideally provide point of source energy to a stadium, a parking garage. You'll see in his Making Lives, Improving Lives video, you know, even like something like Disney World, right? So it's a widely deployable mixed generation and harvesting source for energy.
Wow, that is amazing. Xavier, how did he do? Did Sam do a good job of explaining your project?
Uh-oh, that might not be good for me.
Xavier, you might be muted.
You know, as I do with my emails, I'm going to take that as tacit approval and that I've done a great job in explaining it.
I think you have. So I wanted to ask a couple of questions of our finalists and our mentors. So I'm going to start with Sophia. So hopefully we can take a moment to get Xavier back on the line. But so Sophia, for you, what's been the biggest surprise that you've discovered during the collaboration with your mentor?
I think probably the thing that was most surprising for me was back when I first started talking to Sarah. She really encouraged me to look at the economics or really big picture impact. I knew that muck wasn't just a local issue, that it took place in other lakes and lagoons around the world. But what I learned is that my research replacing the sand aggregate with muck is actually very impactful, because currently sand is a $7 billion industry, and we're actually running out of sand to use in concrete due to the preference to use river sand.
I tell you what, I am learning so much during this call, and we are 7 minutes in, so this is amazing. Do we know if we have Xavier back on? Can you hear us? Oh, okay. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going with Sophia, and then we'll hope to get Xavier back in just a minute. So, Sophia, I'm going to throw one more to you. So you have great scientists who are also mentors here with you. So is there anything that you would like to ask either of them?
So I was actually wondering, both of you have mentored in the past, and what has been the thing that has surprised you the most about being a mentor?
So that could be a question for Sam or for Sarah.
I was hoping Sarah was going to blaze a trail and I could pick up on the crumbs there.
You lead the way, Sam.
Most surprising thing for me, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things. Maybe one thing I'll just pick on a little bit is just the adaptability. And, you know, like, I think I try to take it easy in the early weeks with the mentee, but how quickly they come online and just even subtle hints at maybe small things to improve are very quickly picked up upon. And, you know, I think it's just very impressive, the level of maturity and of ability to quickly compensate for flaws or shortcomings that I see from these mentees and their ability to kind of pull these projects along.
Yeah, that's amazing. They're certainly an impressive group. So I think we have Xavier back. So
yes.
Xavier, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can. Welcome back. So I wanted to hear from you. What's a favorite piece of advice that your mentor has shared with you during this process?
So when I had my first meeting with Sam Race, I was actually constantly worried about like the technical know-how of my project, how it all came together, the science facts. Sam taught me that instead I should focus more on my communication skills. He taught me that you can develop groundbreaking facts, solve the world's greatest mysteries, but none of that matters if you can't distribute your findings. And that's what communication is. It's the exchange of information with the right people. And when you share your ideas with the right people, that's when innovation happens.
That is exactly right, and that is such a great and succinct answer. Xavier, that was so worth waiting for.
Thank you so much.
So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you one more question. So I know this opportunity has been amazing, but I think it's also a really special opportunity to be on this panel with Gail. So I wanted to see if there was anything in particular that you wanted to ask her.
Yes. So first of all, Ms. Schuler, I want to thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor and a privilege to be able to talk with you. And the question I have to ask is, first, what are some of the projects that you like working on the most right now?
Oh, Xavier, that's a great question, and I am honored to be with you. I tell you, I am so impressed by all the students and what they've done with these programs. So I serve as 3M's lead for sustainability, so I get to work on all kinds of fascinating things across the company. And we think of kind of 3 pillars of areas. We think of how we can help advance a circular economy, how we can help impact climate change, and how we can broaden our impact and have a more positive impact on communities. So those are my 3 areas.
Wow.
But one of the things I'm really excited about, and I got inspired by a combination of the work that you and Sophia were doing, is we've been in the process of reinventing Scotch-Brite sponges for the last few years. We have started to make them out of agave fiber. So that's one of those materials that goes to waste that we can repurpose in a different way. Or now we're taking recycled plastic bottles and turning that into the Scotch-Brite scouring sponges that you see. So those are just a couple of examples that maybe you have right away at your home.
Right. Yeah, that's really nice. Do you mind if I ask one more question?
If we've got time, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any advice for young scientists like me who would like to who would like to do the work that you do?
Oh, wow. You know, you're on just such a great track. I'm so impressed with all the work that you're doing. I think that you need to stay curious. I think that you need to want to find out new things and be open to possibilities. And I love the work that you and Sophia are sharing today with reinventing, looking at new innovative ways to be able to have a positive impact on the world and reduce our footprint overall. So I think stay curious, keep flexible, keep some ideas open, and keep that interest in making a bigger, broader impact. It will really help you in the course of your life.
Yeah, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to be able to talk with you. I'm really grateful for all the advice I got. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing. So I'm having a little technical glitch on my end in that my screen is frozen. But I know, Gail, you had a few questions I think you wanted to ask our finalists as well.
Sure. So I have a couple questions for both of you, but I'll start with Sophia. So Sophia, how did you come up with your idea? Was it something that you saw as a problem, or was it something that you had been doing research on? Where did you come up with the idea for muckroot?
So really, my entire life, I've loved the Indian River Lagoon and the nature outside. So when I noticed that my local Indian River Lagoon was polluted, I really was curious, like, why was this happening? And I wanted to do something about it. So I started doing research, and I learned that one of the major reasons the lagoon was the way it was actually because of the substance called muck. So I started diving into reading more about muck and what exactly it was. And I learned that there were 3 problems surrounding muck. One is the cause of the muck, which is actually runoff of lawn fertilizers, plastic clippings, sewage, other pollutants like that. That one, there's actually already a solution for. We really can just cut down on our fertilizer uses and use more natural products. The biggest problem with that is it's really up to the individual. The second one is how to get the muck out of the lagoon. They've been doing these dredging projects that are working effectively. But the third problem is the one that I decided to address because we really don't have a solution yet. No one knew what to do with the muck when it came out of the lagoon. So I started looking at the components of muck and saw that one of the major things was actually clay. And my first thought was, okay, what happens when this muck hardens? Does it become hard or crumble? And from there, I kind of came with the idea of, well, what if we could build something out of this muck?
Very cool. I love it when you take something that's supposed to be a negative and you turn it into something really positive. So, Xavier, what's the most exciting part about being a finalist in this competition?
So definitely my favorite part of the entire 3M challenge has been the 3M mentorship. My mentor has taught me so many interesting concepts like communication, etiquette, and techno-economic analysis. And these skills are really important to have in life when you're working with other people. The 3M mentorship is completely unique to the 3M Young Scientist Challenge. No other science competition has this, and I think that other science competitions should really start incorporating this model, because even after, the trophies, the award presentations, what's left is the connections and learning that was made possible by the 3M Summer Mentorship. And I'm extremely grateful that I was able to have that opportunity, that I was selected as a finalist.
Oh, that's wonderful, Xavier. Sam and Sarah are just fantastic, and they're just two of the thousands of scientists we have across 3M. So I'm really appreciative of the partnership that they're donating with their time to join you, and I'm so appreciative that you've enjoyed working with them. Beth, how are you doing?
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I am unfrozen and ready to go.
Awesome.
So we thank you for that. So we are having some great questions come through. So for Sophia, when you have an idea like this one, for you, like what were the first steps to turn it into a reality, both on your own and then in your work with your mentor?
So back when I first started my project, it was really about how do I turn this muck, how do I create it to be strong enough to actually use in something, and turn it into a concrete. So the first thing I did was really look at what concrete is made of. I learned concrete was basically water, cement, and an aggregate. And I basically thought to myself, okay, why can't muck be used as an aggregate? So after my initial testing, I knew muckcrete wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be, strength-wise. So I knew I had to get those numbers up. And once I started talking to Sarah, we really learned about changing percentages and adding these fibers and how that could really increase the overall strength of it. And there's so many little details with concrete. It's incredible to learn all of them, and I still don't know all of them. It's a very broad aspect.
That's amazing. So I have a question for Xavier. What advice do you have for students who are considering applying to the 3M Young Scientist Challenge next year?
So definitely, I would say definitely apply, because I had a lot of fun making my video, and even it was, very fun. And even if you don't get selected as a finalist or even as a merit award winner, at least you've actually done something like this, because that's what's actually probably going to happen, because now of COVID, you're going to have to continuously have these video submissions. And I think it's really important to have that skill of being able to recite parts of your project and being able to tie it in all together. And it's even harder because you're not able to look at your audience. You're not able to have be quite as animated, and you need to have so.
That's great advice. That is great advice. So I think we have time for one more question, and it's actually for Sam and Sarah as our mentors. As mentors, how do you take the enthusiasm and the curiosity of these amazing mentees, and how do you bring that into your regular work?
You first this time, Sarah. I didn't go first last time.
Okay. I mean, I've learned a lot from Sophia. I think all of the kids are a little bit different, and Sophia has been very excited about her project and like the exploring aspects, and just fundamentally finding a problem that's currently in your community and then figuring out ways to solve it and kind of how you can step in to solve it, I think is a really encouraging thing. And it seems like it's pretty simple, but I mean, I feel like there's stuff that I could definitely apply that to at work, just projects wise. So I've I've kept that enthusiasm of trying to find the problems that we currently have and then exploring them in more depth.
That's great. Sam?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to look at it. Maybe, for me, I think the one time that I seem to realize year over year is, so at 3M, we have 15% time, right? Which is the idea of spending 15% of your time to solve problems that you care about and you want to solve. And I think from the Young Scientist Challenge perspective, it's kind of reinvigorating in that regard to see, young scientists who they're not getting paid. They're not, they're doing this because they care and because they want to do it. And the best 15% time projects are the same. So I think every year that I see this, it reinvigorates me a little bit on the, the current sort of projects that are more 15%ish in my current role. And it always, hopefully lights a little bit of fire under me to get back out there and find the new next thing that I should be kind of attacking or looking into, because if these young scientists can do it and have the motivation to do it just to better the planet, I should be doing the same in my role.
That's great advice for everybody, actually. So with that, I am going to hand it off to Gail to close us out.
Well, thank you, Beth, and thank you for our finalists and our mentors. Please join me, all of you who've tuned in, for a round of applause. We really appreciate your contributions, and it wouldn't be the same without you. Now, before we finish, I have a few reminders. So first of all, before we close the session today, I'm excited to report that starting next Monday on September 28th through Friday, October 9th, you can be voting. You can log in and provide your vote for who you think is going to improve the most lives with these exciting programs. The Improving Lives Award gives the public an opportunity to vote on the 3M Young Scientist Challenge project that they think will improve the most lives. So you can cast your vote once per day at youngscientistlab.com. Lastly, you can catch our finalists again on Tuesday, October 13th at 12 p.m. Central, 1 to, and then see as they present virtually their final presentations to a panel of judges in hopes of becoming America's top young scientist. The invite and details can be found on 3M Go. And thanks to our special guest this afternoon. And have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.